Chip and Joanna Gaines have long used their TV shows and businesses to spotlight Waco, Texas, but it may surprise some to learn that not everyone in the city is a fan. Here's what Waco residents really think about the married millionaires behind Magnolia. A number of Reddit users claiming to be from Waco have used the platform to accuse the fixer-upper stars of having a rep in the city for bad work and passing the buck, even prior to their first TV show. One user wrote, "Loads of unpaid bills around town before they got their show. The homes they renovated would always have major issues with them, and they would never correct them and then blame their subcontractors. Multiple housing violations and rude to anyone they had to deal with." Over on another Reddit forum, some called Chip out in particular, with one user posting, "All I can say is that he's a shady businessman." They added that they didn't know of any rumors of shadiness extending to Joanna.
I'm so proud of you. I'm speechless.
Of course, it's not exactly a secret that Chip has been accused of dodgy deals in the past. On the contrary, he's previously been sued by ex-business partners and even had to settle with the Environmental Protection Agency after he was accused of violating lead paint regulations. That said, in addition to the settlement, Chip also had his initial case with his business partners dismissed and ended up coming to a settlement with them after he countersued for defamation. Many Waco residents have also voiced their frustration with the double-edged sword of Chip and Joanna upgrading the town, the so-called Magnolia effect. One critic on Reddit wrote, "They haven't done so much for the community aside from drive up the cost of living with no increase in pay." Others seem to agree, with one irate resident posting, "Literally ruined our community. Taxes skyrocketed, and so did the housing market. They did nothing for the common Wacoan."
Thank you for being here with us.
Another shared that in the wake of just how pricey the market had become, they'd faced major financial difficulties and were forced to sell their home. Another Redditor shared that a friend of theirs had been unable to afford her home after Magnolia bought and renovated a bunch of properties on her block. As a result, they claimed, the friend specifically tried to sell to a company other than Magnolia, only to find out months later that it was another company still owned by Magnolia. The user went on to conclude, "So yeah, we hate Magnolia. It's also a tradition to flip off the Magnolia billboards." Of course, there were also some who pointed out that Chip and Joanna's revitalization efforts weren't the only reason for higher taxes, noting that housing prices are increasing throughout the state of Texas. In addition to the tax issue, some have also taken issue with just how much Magnolia's presence is felt in Waco. In fact, one Reddit user went as far as referring to it as a TV show theme park. The same Redditor went on to point out that there wasn't a ton of opportunity for other local business owners to thrive alongside the Gaines' empire, writing, "They really seem to try their best to keep their fans inside their ecosystem at all times." Over on another forum, a different user concurred, noting that where the couple's annual celebration could be used to highlight local food businesses, the couple instead hired food trucks from other Texas cities. Others have also complained about the impact the couple has had on local companies that had been in the city for years, unlike Chip and Joanna, who only ended up in Waco as college students. One frustrated Reddit user posted, "They've run local businesses like antique shops and bakeries out of business and just made things more expensive."
We truly believe that home is the most important place on earth.
Other residents who aren't super thrilled to be sharing their city with the seat of the Magnolia empire, former employees of the brand. A number of Chip and Joanna's ex-employees have had some fairly icy things to say about the company's culture. Particularly, some have seemed to agree with the accusations from other residents who've claimed the Gaineses don't really care about the city they've brought so much attention to. Taking to Indeed, one disgruntled ex-employee complained, "They act like they support Waco and love small businesses, but in reality, it's all for show, no support, and not a fun place to work." Another user claimed the company culture was high stress and warned against applying for jobs there. Now, it does bear mentioning that many other employees, both past and present, have spoken pretty glowingly of their time working for the Gaines' company. For one, Magnolia Homes designer Laura Stafford once said in an interview with Forward that Chip and Joanna were super inspirational as employers and that they weren't micromanagers either. Likewise, while some of the Indeed postings have been less than complimentary, others have hyped up Magnolia as an excellent brand to work for. One former receptionist gushed, "This was a really fun job to work at. Management and coworkers were like one big happy family. Being located in the center of downtown in a small city made it even better." It's worth noting that even with all the criticism they faced, Chip and Joanna Gaines do still have a number of local fans in Waco. In fact, some have even defended them against the criticism, while also praising them for their treatment of their staff. One Redditor, who praised Chip and Joanna for their revitalization efforts, wrote, "They have been good for the local economy and pay their employees more than most local places." In a different forum on the platform, another resident agreed, writing, "The positives they have brought to our city far outweigh the negatives. It's so nice to have Waco not be synonymous with a crazy cult. If you don't like them or their product simply don't go there.
Waco, Texas did not have the best reputation on the planet. We had quite a few decades of some pretty unfortunate circumstances.
Another had similar sentiments, posting, "They've done more good here than bad. What they've helped do is take this place from sleepy crap hole to a place with actual amenities." With so much of their empire based in and centered on Waco, something tells us the Gaineses aren't going anywhere. Being in the public eye when you have kids can be scary, especially if you have a huge fan following like Chip and Joanna Gaines. Case in point, a source claimed to Us Weekly in October 2017 that Chip and Joanna pulled the plug on Fixer Upper because people were supposedly treating their home like a tourist destination, saying, "People drive by and like to take pictures in front of their house. I think they just want to take a step back from it." In addition to safety concerns, their kids are growing up quickly, and the Gaines welcomed a new baby crew to the household in June 2018. It makes sense that the two left HGTV to spend more time with their family. In an interview with People, Chip said, "The kids would ask, 'Mom and Dad, do you guys have to film again today? When is this going to be over?'
You know, we have this young, growing family, and I just think that was one of the biggest reasons why we wanted it.
Now that Chip and Joanna have decided to walk away from the show, they look forward to enjoying everyday activities with their children. Rumors of marital problems have plagued Joanna and Chip for years, so it was only natural that many fans assumed the couple walked away to save their supposedly failing marriage. Asked by Today if there's any truth to this theory, Chip's answer was a bit complicated.
I'll give them a little credence. I mean, there is always what's next. And for us, the most important thing in the world is Joe and I's relationship.
Translation, Chip and Joanna broke ties with HGTV in part in order to preserve their union. Better to be safe than sorry. As hard as it may be, sometimes you just have to admit when something doesn't inspire you anymore. Chip and Joanna, who devoted their lives to home renovation for 4 years, had to deal with the scenario when they decided to move on from HGTV. In his book, Capital Gains, Smart Things I Learned Doing Stupid Stuff, Chip wrote, "It's difficult to give your heart and soul to something that no longer inspires you. And for us, that's the show. Our 5th final season is our favorite yet, even if getting to the finish line has been a struggle. Sometimes the truth hurts." It can sometimes look like Chip and Joanna are robots who run on endless energy, but these two aren't immune to exhaustion. And after 4 years of tirelessly working on Fixer Upper, the pair was physically depleted. Chip talked about the reality of filming the show 11 months out of the year with People, saying, "Nobody told us that was unique. Nobody told us that this was a little bit irrational." The good news, Joanna and Chip made the wise decision to practice self-care and to step back from the limelight for a minute. Joanna weighed in on the couple's bittersweet decision, saying, "We gave everything we had to the show, the beautiful homes and those sweet families, but this just felt like the right time to catch our breath for a bit." When Joanna announced plans in June 2017 to open a restaurant in their hometown of Waco, Texas, fans wondered how the duo would find time to become restaurateurs amid their busy filming schedule. The answer arrived in September 2017 when Chip and Joanna walked away from HGTV to focus on their stylish eatery, Magnolia Table. From planning the restaurant's menu to designing the establishment's interiors, Chip and Joanna were completely hands-on during their entire process. And just 6 months after Chip and Joanna announced their breakup with HGTV, their restaurant opened its doors in March 2018. Well, at least fans get to chow down on Chip and Joanna's favorite recipes for years to come. We think that's a pretty fair trade-off. It's no secret that Chip and Joanna Gaines have a nice nest egg thanks to Fixer Upper. In fact, the couple is rumored to have a combined net worth of about $18 million. Impressive, right? Given the fact that Chip and Joanna are pretty well off, it doesn't necessarily make sense that they would continue working at HGTV. It's not like they'll run out of money anytime soon. Plus, Chip isn't too concerned about finances, a piece of info that might surprise some fans.
Losing all your money is only a scale of 1 on a scale of 1 to 10.
Tell us how you really feel, Chip.
As Fixer Upper continued to climb in the ratings, many fans began flocking to Waco, Texas to get a taste of the small-town charm. Chip and Joanna Gaines began growing their Magnolia Market, which includes a store featuring products made and curated by the couple, as well as a large outdoor space at the foot of the famous Magnolia Silos, where visitors can enjoy food by local vendors. Once again, residents were split on their appreciation for the attention the Gaines brought to their small town. In 2016, neighboring Magnolia Market property owner Darren Farmer sued the Gaines for a figure between $200,000 and $1 million. Farmer alleged that amid negotiations with the Gaines on the purchase of Farmer's property, which was located next to Magnolia Market, the Gaines built a gate that partially blocked access to it, making it impossible for Farmer to use the entirety of his empty lot to make money as a parking lot. The case was dismissed 1 year later after the Gaines reportedly agreed to buy Farmer's property for just under $1 million. In 2021, Chip Gaines' sister, Shannon Braun, clinched a seat as a trustee on the school board in Grapevine, Colleyville, Texas. According to the Dallas Morning News, Braun, who was against teaching critical race theory, received a $1,000 donation from Chip and Joanna Gaines. In a Facebook post on May 26, 2021, Braun wrote, "I'm committed to working alongside our parents and teachers to ensure students get the education they deserve by returning the focus of our curriculum and teaching to academics, rather than filling curriculum with divisive critical race theory training." The Gaines' support for Braun confused fans because it ran counter to previous public messages by the couple, including Joanna's candid admission of the difficulties she faced growing up mixed race in the South in her book, Who You Were Made to Be. In November 2016, BuzzFeed released a damning profile on Jimmy Seibert, the pastor of the Evangelical Antioch Community Church in Texas, which counts the Gaines as members. Seibert, who interviewed the couple on the church's YouTube channel, has taken a firm stance against gay marriage. Chip appeared to address the allegations later that year in a since-deleted blog on the pair's personal website. He wrote, "Joanna and I have personal convictions. We care about you for the simple fact that you are a person, our neighbor on planet Earth. It's not about what color your skin is, how much money you have in the bank, your political affiliation, sexual orientation, gender, nationality, or faith." In a 2021 profile by The Hollywood Reporter, Joanna became emotional when confronted with the couple's past controversies. Although she didn't address anything specifically, she said, "The accusations that get thrown at you, like you're a racist or you don't like people in the LGBTQ community, that's the stuff that really eats my lunch because it's so far from who we really are." Many viewers flock to HGTV shows to get tips on how to perform their own home renovations, which is why the Environmental Protection Agency was quick to act when they discovered that Chip and Joanna Gaines were not safely removing lead paint during episodes of Fixer Upper. In a 2018 statement on its website, the EPA alleged, "Video footage of Magnolia's renovations of older homes appearing in several seasons of Fixer Upper reviewed by EPA did not depict the lead-safe work practices normally required by the renovation, remodeling, and painting rule." In the same statement, the EPA acknowledged that Magnolia quickly rectified the issue and paid a $40,000 fine set by the agency. The couple also spoke about the dangers of lead-based paint during a March 2018 episode of Fixer Upper and outlined steps that homeowners and professionals must take in order to ensure safe removal of the toxin. An additional video on the dangers on lead-based paint was also shared on Chip's Twitter page.
Unfortunately, this old house tested positive for lead, so today we've all got to wear these groovy white suits.
Magnolia Homes even went above and beyond the steps outlined by the EPA. The company donated $160,000 to the Supplemental Environmental Project in Waco, Texas, which helped to ensure that homes, especially those built before 1978 and currently occupied by children, have lead-based paints removed safely by a third-party abatement team. We often find ourselves watching Fixer Upper and thinking two things. The first is that we would love our home to have the same welcoming aesthetic of all of the Magnolia Homes builds. The second is whether Joanna Gaines has considered launching a skincare line, because anyone who looks that effortlessly stunning while raising 5 kids, building an empire, and working in a construction zone has to have some great beauty secrets. Unfortunately, a scammer also took notice of Gaines' lack of wrinkles and capitalized on the opportunity by using the Magnolia founder's name. In 2017, Gaines was forced to take a break from sharing her latest designs and sweet family pics on Instagram to warn her fans about the scam. She wrote, "There have been rumors floating around about me leaving the show to start a skincare makeup line. I wanted to take a minute to let y'all know that it's simply not true. This is a scam. We have nothing to do with it and have been trying to stop it for some time." For the record, if Joanna Gaines does decide to launch an official beauty line, we'll take 2 of everything. Linda Evangelista once said she wouldn't get out of bed for less than $10,000 a day, and even with inflation, it appears the supermodel may have been undervaluing herself. In a 2018 legal case between Chip and Joanna Gaines' Magnolia Furniture and one of their suppliers, Joanna listed her deposition fee at $150,000 per hour. That's a lot of shiplap. The massive fee was uncovered by Blast, which also noted that Gaines was neither a defendant nor plaintiff in the the case, making her massive fee even more shocking. Joanna was asked to be a part of the deposition since she was the one who discovered that the materials supplied for the furniture that was to be sold under the Magnolia Furniture name were not of the quality previously agreed upon. Gaines' high hourly fee appeared to be an effort on the Magnolia founder's part to be left out of the deposition. According to Blast, she had previously stated she would prefer to be part of the deposition only through written comments. Unfortunately for Joanna, a judge later ruled that not only did she have to sit for the deposition in person, she would also not receive her requested hourly rate. Maybe she should have started at $10,000 per day. Chip and Joanna Gaines were working on selling and renovating homes in the Waco area before HGTV cameras began rolling, but their level of success was significantly lower prior to their major TV deal. Before becoming household names, Chip was working with partners John L. Lewis and Richard L. Clark in the Magnolia Real Estate Company, which employed one agent. According to a 2017 lawsuit filed by Chip's former partners, per People, the reality star bought out their shares of the company without disclosing that the show he and wife Joanna had been filming had been bought by HGTV. Chip's former partners filed a $1 million lawsuit against him, alleging that he bought their shares in the company for $5,000 without revealing that Fixer Upper had been greenlit by HGTV. Both Lewis and Clark told the media that after selling their shares to Chip, they didn't hear from their former partner again. Chip seemingly addressed the lawsuit and his former partner's claims in a tweet in April 2017, writing, FYI, I've had the same cell number 15 years, same email for 20 years. No one called or emailed. 4 years later, friends reach out via lawsuit. Chip's lawyers argued that his former business partners were aware of the couple's deal with HGTV before selling their shares of Magnolia Realty. The records of the case have been sealed from public viewing, but we do know that in 2020, a Texas district court judge dismissed Lewis and Clark's lawsuit. In his 2017 best-selling memoir, Capital Gains, Smart Things I Learned Doing Stupid Stuff, Chip writes that a tweet from a customer alerting the Magnolia owner to a late shipment made him rethink whether the couple was able to handle all the projects they currently had in the works. Gaines explained, I tried to shake it off, knowing that I couldn't do anything about it then, and that it would have to wait until morning. No luck. I was up all night dwelling on it. Gaines was even prepared to walk off the set of Fixer Upper the following day so that he could go to the Magnolia warehouse and fix the issue himself. He said that the tweet sparked a conversation between him and Joanna, with the pair soon realizing they had taken on too many jobs. He wrote, suddenly filming the TV show looked like the job that had seduced me into giving it my precious time that I had always promised would be reserved for my true loves, my family, and my business. How had this side gig found its way to competing with the very things that mean more to me than anything else in the world? In 2017, Chip and Joanna announced they would be ending their hit HGTV series after 5 seasons, in order to be able to give their family and their Magnolia furniture and design business the proper attention. Then parents to 4 kids, now 5, and filming 11 months of the year, it's understandable that the Gaines needed a break, but it was also rumored that the couple may have been upset by restrictions placed on them by HGTV. We now know that the Gaines have continued to build their TV empire through their own Magnolia network on Discovery, and they've hopefully resolved any customer complaints they've been facing during their busiest time.